Hey everybody. Well, it's the day after. And we're all still here. So as predicted, as I said in my live stream, I don't want to be smug face. But, smug face, as I said in my live stream, all the conspiracy theories of the last week, I suppose, maybe, last few days anyway, about Putin's assassination, and Putin is mad, what is he thinking going there? Why is he going to America? He's going to be arrested. They're going to launch a missile strike. They've pre-mined the area with explosives, so they're going to blow it up when he gets there. His plane is going to get shot down. You name it, literally, you name it. It was everywhere. You know, all across social media. I don't know about the mainstream social media, is what I call the mainstreams, but certainly in the chat rooms, it was awash with it. And I've got to say, some very intelligent people were saying the same thing, and that surprised me. That really did, because, as I said in the live stream, it's if that's going to be a reality, if that's what's going to happen, Russia's nuclear doctrine really comes into play then, because assassinating the president is an act of war, and on that basis Russia's nuclear doctrine is launch, bye-bye, everybody goes. So was it ever going to happen? Wasn't, was it? What was going to happen is exactly what has happened, and that is that Trump has gone along now thinking he knows the reality and being told the actual reality. The other thing that has or hasn't happened is the other conspiracy theory that if Putin wasn't assassinated, he was going to capitulate to Trump and he was going to give a load of stuff away, and that was trade deals. The biggest one was he was going to swap land and territory. And I suppose if you're not in Russia, maybe the only idea you have of Russia is from mainstream media, that Russia is weak, and that Putin is weak, and there's no real government, and it's all just chaos, and that couldn't be further from the truth. It really couldn't. So all of these ideas about, you know, land swaps and all that, it's just not possible. Again, as I said in my live stream a couple of days ago, go back and watch it, you'll see. It's just not possible. Even if Putin had a moment of insanity and decided that he wanted to give away territory that thousands of Russian troops have laid down their life for, and he was just going to, oh well, that doesn't matter, I'm going to give the territory away. He couldn't. He's not in a position to. He doesn't have the authority to do that, because, as I keep saying, Russia has a government. It's not one man, despite the West and their, oh, Putin this, Putin's fault, Putin done it. Despite all of that bullshit narrative, Russia has a government and it has policies, and they follow them. So anyhow, back to the nonsense. What's happened? Well, Trump has had an education. He has definitely been told some stuff that he didn't know. He's probably had his eyes open to other stuff that he might have thought was the case and maybe not. Probably about losses, casualties in the war. That's certainly a big one, because the Western narrative is, you know, off the charts in the wrong direction, and Trump spouts that out. So he certainly, if he didn't fully believe it, he certainly was on board with that, and I'm sure that has had a correction. And I think ultimately Vladimir Putin has completely reinforced his position pretty much all along, but certainly since June of last year, where he stated the goals for the SMO and how it ends. And I think that has been reinforced to Trump in person, and I think that's hit home, because Trump has gone there thinking he's going to make a deal, because that's all he can do. He's not a diplomat, he's not a statesman, he's not a politician, he's a bully boy businessman. So he goes into everything thinking he's going to bully his way and get a deal that he wants. And this is politics, this is diplomacy on a level that he doesn't comprehend. And I think he has just had a very, very big education. So what's going to come out of it? Well, Vladimir Putin went in on a position of strength. So certainly one thing that's going to come out of it is the realisation that a ceasefire ain't happening, because no army, no government, no country agrees to a ceasefire when they're in a winning position. You know, again, a Western idea, a bit like putting an oil cap on the price of Russian oil and saying, oh, well, you're only going to get $45 a barrel. Oh, right, that's a bit like somebody telling me how much I'm going to sell my car for. Not happening, is it? So all of these crazy ideas that the West seems to think are based on their absolute ignorance of the situation and their absolute arrogance of their own self-importance. And quite frankly, their importance is zero, as they are now all finding out. So Trump has made a phone call to the European leaders and has told them the score, isn't he? He said, yeah, you can forget your ideas about a ceasefire. Not happening. And ultimately, he may be telling them something on the phone to, you know, keep them sweet and happy. But what is going to happen is that Europe is going to be scratching around at the bottom of the table, trying to get the leftovers, trying to get the crumbs, because Trump is going to be putting America first, and he is going to be doing what is in his best interest as president of the United States. He doesn't give a tiny rat's ass about Europe. He's got no interest in Europe, couldn't care less. If Europe collapses, so what? What are you doing? Goon. Sorry. Terrible driving. Yeah, if Europe collapses, I mean, to be honest, Trump will be going, lovely. It won't be, oh my God, you know, I've got to stay loyal to the Europeans because, you know, we're allies and... Bitch, please. That ain't happening. He's going to be rubbing his hands together. Why? Well, because Europe's going to have to go cap in hand to America, isn't it? It's already cap in hand for its energy. So if it collapses and the economies collapse, what are they going to do? Please, Mr. Trump, please give us some money. It'd be like Oliver. Please, can I have some more, sir? That's what's going to happen. So Trump couldn't care less about Europe. And to be honest, name a European leader that you think cares about his country. Genuinely cares about his country. Not, you know, not lip service to, you know, get some policies through, but genuinely cares about the country and the people. None of them. Not one. Macron, most unpopular president in French history. Keir Starmer, from what I can tell, the most unpopular Prime Minister of British history. And now we've got Mertzler, the most unpopular German Prime Minister, aside from, you know, maybe one exception, but he's rapidly chasing after him. It's just carnage. It's just absolute carnage. Now, us as Europeans are going to go through 12 to 18 months, maybe 2 years at the most, of having to deal with this carnage before the whole pot collapses, before all of these leaders are replaced. And until that happens, it is just going to be a mess, because their idea of reality isn't reality. It's just their version, their vision, their want list, should we call it. But it's never ever going to, you know, pass scrutiny. It's never going to happen. So what's going to happen is they're going to try and pursue their policies in a desperate bid to try and scratch some more money out of the system before they're all replaced and booted out. And then Europe can start to rebuild. But that will be with new leaders, new governments, realising that the policies of their current governments and former governments have been absolutely disastrous for their countries and their economies, and it will be on an understanding that they will want to make friends with Russia again and say, we're ever so sorry, we kind of cocked up. It's, you know, it's our previous government, we're really sorry about this, what do we need to do? So all these European nations are going to come cap in hand. Now, I know that's controversial, and I know a lot of people are going to be going, no, it's not going to happen. Well, tell me why it's not. Because Trump is going, Dos Vidania, see you later, because he's going to be making deals because it makes sense for him as a businessman and it makes sense for the US. And he's going to be able to sell that real easy to the American public, real easy. So he's going to be disappearing off down the road of peace with Russia, friendly, business. And Europe is going to be standing there going, but what about us? And he'll be going, yeah, you're on your own, boys. Good luck. So what choice have they got? Well, as I say, the first choice will be the collapse. That will be the governments in the West gradually collapsing, being overturned, new leaders coming in. Will there be sweeping new policies straight away? No, there'll probably be a bit of tentative feeling and we can probably still pursue this policy and pursue that, only to find out that they can't. Maybe there'll be a second change of leadership in quick succession, or maybe they'll have an epiphany and a very rude awakening and go, whoa, yeah, no, the public really don't want to be swallowing this one. And then it'll change, but it is going to be a period of unpleasantness, I'm afraid, for everybody in the West, for all of us lot. But that's how it is. That's exactly what's going to be happening. So Putin has come away from there in the same position that he went in there, a position of strength, stating exactly what it's going to take, and not making any compromises. Which, yeah, why should he? Why would he make any compromises when he's in a position that Russia is in, despite what Western media say, but in a position where, they're making advances constantly, every day, and have been for months, if not years. So, yeah, some of you ain't going to like this, but tell me I'm wrong in 6 months. In fact, go back 6 months and tell me what's changed. But yeah, that's the sum total of it. So nobody died. We're all still here. So all your tinfoil hat wearers gonna have to fold your little hat up again for the next crisis. And everybody needs to swallow a bitter pill, especially Western leaders. Have any of them got a spine or a backbone to actually swallow that pill and just go, oh wow, and face the reality, and then go, right, yeah, we need to have a chat with Russia? No chance. They have been so anti-Russia because they were convinced their policies were going to work. Absolutely convinced. They were all running around patting each other on the back going, oh, look at all the resources we're going to get when we break up Russia, because that was the only option. There wasn't any other option. They hadn't figured a plan B, didn't need one, because that was plan A, and plan A was absolutely guaranteed of success. Oopsie. So they're committed to their policies. They're not going to run back from it. So the only logical step left from there is that they'll be replaced come polling day, if there's not a call for them to leave beforehand, shall we say. So yeah, strap in, guys. It ain't over yet, but there has been a huge shift in, I won't say shift in power, but shift in the understanding of power. Trump has definitely heard it from the horse's mouth and is now going, right. He knows the score now. He knows exactly the position. He knows Russia's position. There is no ambiguity. There is no, smoke and mirrors. There isn't any of that, because he's heard it from the horse's mouth now. So, as I say, brace yourself, strap in. It's not over yet, but we're on the right path now. And remember, don't listen to conspiracy theories, because they're all a bunch of wackos. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.